Excuse me, guys. I just burped. What is this thing called? What is this thing called? Can y'all hear me? No, wrong one. Okay. Default. USB. Okay. Can you hear me now? Alright, so today, oh my gosh, that's not, I'm so sorry. Is it still low for y'all? I feel like it's pretty good right now, but I don't know. Oh my gosh. I don't know, I think it sounds pretty good right here. Sorry about that. Yeah. Alright, it's better now. Alright. So today we are doing some reacts. Hello to everybody coming in. Let me get y'all onto the screen. So the first video we are going to do today is it is a reaction to Avatar: The Last Airbender Cabbage Theory. Let's see what this dude has to say about that. Yeah, let's go.
Earth. Fire.
My cabbage.
The Cabbage Merchant from Avatar: The Last Airbender is a Fire Nation
Turn up the brightness.
spy, and I believe he is the true villain of Avatar, secretly orchestrating the events of both shows. And also I think he's cabbage bending. But we'll get to that part later. Now, I know that sounds crazy, but I promise you, this will be the most convincing Avatar theory you will ever hear. This is Cabbage Theory.
The cabbage theory. So what is he trying to say?
So, Avatar: The Last Airbender. I'm guessing most people who clicked on this video have already seen it, but on the off chance you haven't, it's basically a show.
Alright. I really love the Avatar. It was a good series. Let me know if y'all liked it. But this is a pretty interesting theory about it. Let's see.
Where some people can control one of the 4 elements. And the Avatar, the only person who can master all 4 elements, has to stop the Fire Nation from taking over the world. But why would I possibly think that a random Earth Kingdom cabbage merchant is actually a Fire Nation spy? And a cabbage bender, but we'll get to that later. You know, he's just a funny running gag character. All we ever see him do is get his cabbages destroyed.
My cabbages! My cabbages!
No, I never really noticed that.
My cabbages!
Well, think about it. We are told many times throughout the show that there are Fire Nation spies.
He was probably trying to signal the Fire Navy.
Oh yeah.
Let me see.
I'm sure he's a spy for the Fire
Is that
Navy.
still off
How
here?
do we know you're not Fire Nation spies?
Remember, this is the first stream. Start setting everything up.
He's Fire Nation. He was sent to eliminate me.
But strangely, we never actually see any of them. But at the same time, we know there must be spies out there because someone is giving Zuko very detailed information about the gang's whereabouts.
We're closing
Yeah, that's
in
true.
on the Avatar's trail.
There have been multiple sightings of the Avatar.
Too low now? Oh my
Zuko and the
gosh.
Fire Nation keep finding us.
And this. Who does the gang constantly
that?
run
Is that
into
better?
throughout the entire show? the Cabbage Merchant. Okay, I know, it still sounds like a stretch, but don't worry, we're just getting started. In Book 3, the gang goes to see a Fire Nation play all about their adventures.
You guys are not gonna
fucking
believe
crack
this. Here's a play about us.
I'm the Avatar, silly. Here to spread joy and fun.
It's basically just Fire Nation propaganda where the Fire Lord is shown as the good guy and wins in the end.
The world is mine.
But other than that, the plot of the play is surprisingly accurate.
Riddles and challenges must you face.
No, Jet! What did they do to you?
Must destroy.
So, where did they get all of this information about the gang?
His
Okay.
sources include singing nomads, pirates, prisoners of war, and a surprisingly knowledgeable merchant of cabbage. The surprisingly knowledgeable merchant of cabbage.
Huh. Why did the Cabbage Merchant, an Earth Kingdom citizen, help them write Fire Nation propaganda? Because he's actually a Fire Nation spy. Okay, wait. Maybe I'm just overthinking this. Maybe
Yes.
he didn't necessarily
Maybe you
know
are.
he was helping the Fire Nation. For all we know, someone just asked him about the Avatar, and
The
he
fuck
was
is that?
more than willing to complain about the guy who has destroyed his cabbages many times. You know, he might be a little petty, but there's no reason to think he's secretly trying to take down the Earth Kingdom. Right?
Okay, maybe he is dragging it. I don't know. Oh my gosh, I got an ad. I'll go back to right here. I'll let the ad play for now.
I want to tell you guys about Shopify, a platform that makes starting a business incredibly easy. Shopify.
Alright, it's done. Let me come back.
In Book 2, the Cabbage Merchant tries to take
Is
the
my
ferry
mic good?
to Ba
I don't know if
Sing
y'all can hear me.
Se,
Like,
but
is
he
it
gets
like the video
rejected
too high, or
by
is the mic to video ratio pretty good?
No vegetables on the ferry. One cabbage slug could destroy the entire ecosystem of Ba Sing Se. Security! Ah, my cabbages!
She destroys his cabbages to avoid risking cabbage slugs from getting into the city. Now, this may seem like a bit of an
Cabbage slugs.
overreaction, but Ba Sing Se is a closed-off, self-contained ecosystem. If
Hear me out. Attack on Titan references? I'm just saying Attack on Titan.
the wrong pest got in, it could quickly spread and be devastating for the city's agriculture and economy. And, you know,
Look at that. Like, that's Attack on Titan. That's legit Attack on Titan. I'm making my own theories here now.
what's crazy about all this? She was right.
Wait, was that a slug?
Really closely as the cabbage cart gets destroyed, you can just barely see a cabbage slug flying through the air.
Okay, how the fuck did he notice that? Like, was he like... Like that watching it? Like... I don't know, like, was he just...
Destroy the entire ecosystem of Ba Sing Se.
Listen to what the lady says.
He's like, "Oh, right there, right there."
Cabbage
I don't
slug
know.
would destroy the entire ecosystem of Ba Sing Se. If the cabbage merchant actually got into Ba Sing Se like he wanted, he would have personally been responsible for the downfall of the capital of the Earth Kingdom. Okay, that's not like a great look for the cabbage man, but you know, maybe it was just an accident. No, I refuse to accept that. Look at this guy. He is so passionate and obsessed with his cabbages.
Off with their heads! One for each head of cabbage!
Literally, his only defining trait is how much he cares about his cabbages. Does this really seem like
I mean,
the type of
you
guy
can have a
who
cabbage
wouldn't
cabbage
know if he had
fetish.
cabbage slugs? He's a Fire Nation spy.
Okay.
But
I mean, he's starting to
why?
sound pretty good about it.
He
I
clearly
don't
has a
know really,
vendetta
so.
against Aang, but why would he be intentionally trying to take down the Earth Kingdom? Well, Aang is not the only one who destroys his cabbages. We've seen him try to enter both Omashu and Ba Sing Se, and both times Earth Kingdom bureaucrats destroyed his cabbages.
What kind of slum do you think this is? Security!
And these are only the times that we actually know about. For all we know, this is a regular occurrence for him. And then he's forced to watch as they immediately let Aang, his mortal enemy, inside directly after him.
My cabbages! Enjoy your mushroom.
We will.
Security!
No, this one.
It is my pleasure to help.
Alright, we scammed that lady good.
He didn't even have a ticket to get into Ba Sing Se. What the hell? And when Aang does destroy his cabbages, and he tries to get justice,
You're gonna pay for this! Off with their heads! One for each head of cabbage!
guess what the Earth Kingdom authorities do to Aang?
What is your judgment,
Nothing.
sire?
They did nothing.
A feast.
They throw him a feast. The cabbage merchant has just as much reason to hate the Earth Kingdom. And I think the years of abuse and special treatment for the Avatar radicalized him into becoming a Fire Nation spy, attempting to take down the Earth Kingdom from within using infested cabbages. And you know what? I don't even think this was his only attempt to do this.
I told you already! No vegetables on the ferry!
The ticket lady says, I told you already.
I told you already.
This is not the first time he's tried smuggling cabbage slugs into Ba Sing Se. And when he tried to enter Omashu, listen to why the guards rejected him.
Rotten cabbages? What kind of slum do you think this is?
Rotten.
Rotten cabbages.
Rotten cabbages?
I think the cabbage man was once again trying to sneak in infested cabbages into Omashu. And you know what? I think this time he actually succeeded. Despite being rejected and having his cabbage cart completely destroyed, just a few minutes later we see him inside of the city with a whole new cart full of cabbages.
My cabbages!
My cabbages! I wonder if I can stand here like that.
My cabbages!
My cabbages!
Wait, what?
Hold on, sorry guys. My cabbages!
Wait, what?
Hold on, sorry guys. So y'all can still hear me with this or no? My cabbages!
What?
Hold on, sorry guys. So y'all can still hear me with this or no? Oh, cool, I figured it out. I was just trying to fix it because I had my headset plugged into my mic and I could hear myself, but now I can't. But if it does start acting up, please let me know. I'll try to fix it. But so far, I think it sounds pretty good right now. So let's watch it.
Did he just find a spare cart full of cabbages somewhere? No. I actually think these are the same cabbages. We know from Return to Omashu that there is a secret sewer entrance into the city beneath the gate,
A secret passage?
Wait.
which is exactly where the merchant's cabbages were thrown. So I think the cabbage man went down there to retrieve his cabbages, discovered the secret entrance, and successfully brought the infested cabbages into the city to weaken it for the Fire Nation.
The cabbage slugs. Okay, it's starting to come together, but I don't know. It's still kind of a scratch, but it's kind of coming together. Let's see if he wraps it in and make it better.
And you know what's really crazy about this? It worked. The next time we see Omashu, it's been conquered by the Fire Nation.
The Earth Kingdom city of Oh no.
They even make a point to tell us how surprising this is and how Omashu had never been conquered for the entire 100-Year War.
I can't believe it. I know the war has spread far, but Omashu always seemed untouchable.
Up until now it was.
So, why is it now suddenly so vulnerable?
Cause of the cabbage man!
Cabbage merchant! And this is also exactly what happened to Ba Sing Se. He was rejected entry, his cabbages got destroyed, but then later we see him inside of the city with cabbages. What did he take the fucking serpent's pass? And then shortly after he arrives and starts selling his
What the
cabbages,
fuck?
the city gets conquered by the Fire Nation. I'm starting to notice maybe a little pattern here. You can't deny it anymore. There's too many connections. The cabbage merchant is working for the Fire Nation to help take down the Earth Kingdom and spy on the Avatar.
In his research, Dr. Morrison
That again.
identified a paradox.
Guess how I got this. I can hear it though.
A moment.
Okay.
And
Alright, back.
speaking of which, how exactly is the cabbage merchant spying on the gang? Like, obviously they've bumped into each other a couple times, but Zuko and the Ember Island players have a ton of information about the gang.
Here's what you missed. We went to the Fire Nation, and you got better, and I got a sword, and I...
Sorry guys, just making sure that my audio is working.
Here's what you missed. We went to the Fire Nation, and you got better, and I got a sword, and I...
Sorry guys, just making sure that my audio is working. Is it good from right here? Just making sure. Sorry guys, just making sure that my audio is working. Is it good from right here? Just making sure. Okay, cool. We got everything good. Sorry, you know, I get like a little like what's it called? What's the word? What's the word? Okay, let's get back into the video. My bad, got distracted.
I think Combustion Man died.
Like, way more than anyone should have. It almost feels like there's something else going on here. And if you don't believe me, I reached out to a certified Avatar expert to see if there was any more examples of the Fire Nation knowing things they shouldn't.
Right, so like in Book 3, when everyone thinks Aang is dead, how does Zuko's assassin Combustion Man keep finding them? It couldn't have just been dumb luck 3 times in 8 episodes that he was just around, right? Seems unlikely. And how'd they know to put Toph in a wooden cell anyway?
I'm gonna turn you in and collect a reward. Then you metal bend yourself out of jail.
Hey, what kind of cell is this?
A wooden one.
If you think about it, no one in the Fire Nation should know that metal bending exists. Toph only created it a few weeks ago, and the only people that have seen it are from the Earth Kingdom and the Fire Nation troops aboard that ship who were probably just horribly killed by the Serpent. And Toph never uses metal bending in her scams in that episode, only earth bending. So why in the world would the Fire Nation town guards think they use a wooden cell when they're not even aware that metal bending is a thing?
Thank you, Mr. Overanalyzing Avatar. So, how could the Fire Nation possibly know all of this? Especially the stuff in Book 3 when the Cabbage Merchant isn't even around. It's almost like the Fire Nation has another way to spy on the gang. A way that still involves the Cabbage Merchant, even if he isn't nearby. Okay, here's where my theory goes into full-on tinfoil hat conspiracy mode, so just brace yourself. There's a really strange detail in the episode The Puppet Master, an episode that the Cabbage Merchant isn't even in, but still, I honestly think it's one of the strangest things in the entire show. In this episode, the gang goes to a Fire Nation market, and Katara buys a cabbage. Except, there's something very weird about this cabbage. It clearly has a very creepy looking face on it. Like, huh? I swear, this is actually in the show. I did not edit this in. It's never even acknowledged in the episode. It's just a weird, creepy face watching the characters for no reason. Why in the world would the animators include this? It's so weird.
I can't figure it out. Whatever.
Okay. So I have a theory. But what I'm about to say is gonna sound completely insane. It's probably the stupidest possible thing I could say. But what if the Cabbage Merchant is using the cabbages to spy on the gang? Yes, I believe that the Cabbage Merchant is a cabbage bender.
How though? Like, I don't know. How is he a cabbage bender?
I know that sounds stupid, but I swear it makes sense. Just hear me out. In this show, there is a precedent for being able to spy on people through vegetation, with the swamp.
I think I know how to find them. Everything is connected.
This is just Sage Mode from Naruto. Just saying.
Come on, we gotta hurry.
And it isn't even just like an avatar power either. Toph can use the swamp vines to literally see the entire world.
I'm more connected to the world than you've ever been. I can see Sue and Lin, Zaofu and Republic City. I see everything.
Now, obviously,
I have not seen The Legend of Korra. So, I don't know too much about that. That's pretty cool though. Toph is fucking old as shit.
This cabbage is not part of the swamp. But a major theme of Avatar is how separation is just an illusion and everything is connected.
I get how the tree is one big thing, but the whole world?
Sure. You think you're any different from me, or your friends, or this tree?
The greatest illusion of this world is the illusion of separation. Things you think are separate and different are actually one and the same. Even the separation of the four elements is an illusion.
We're all connected. Everything is connected.
So everything in this world, including the cabbage merchant and cabbages across the entire world, are connected. And I think the merchant is somehow tapping into this connection to spy on the gang. I think, like, technically you could do this with anything in Avatar. He's just, like, really honed his ability on cabbages. He's cabbage man.
Probably.
And I have evidence to prove it. This weird spiritual connection to cabbages explains why he's so...
Who drew this out? Who? What does that say? Art by Masamu. I can't even read what that says.
obsessive and protective of them.
Off with their heads! One for each head of cabbage!
And it also explains why he's constantly feeling them for some reason. He's not just randomly caressing a cabbage, he's connecting with it through cabbage bending. And if you don't believe me, one time while he's feeling a cabbage, we can see him literally sense the gang coming. Like, yeah, there was a falling sound, but if you listen closely, he senses them before we can hear the sound. He sensed them through the cabbage. This also explains how he would have been able to find the secret entrance into Omashu. His cabbages fell down near the entrance, allowing him to sense it. I know it sounds crazy, but the evidence is here. The cabbage merchant is cabbage bending. Every time we see cabbages in this show, the merchant is using them to spy on the gang. He is always watching them. He's not just some random, funny background character. He is a highly skilled double agent working for the Fire Nation. And if you still, after all of this, don't believe that, then let me ask you this. How did a failing cabbage merchant get enough money to start an extremely successful technology company in The Legend of Korra?
Cabbage Corp, Republic City's trusted name in technology for over 50 years.
No! Not my Cabbage Corp!
They even built a massive statue of him in Republic City. They all
What?
just out. Not even Katara got a statue. The cabbage merchant built his empire with blood money he was paid by the Fire Nation to take down the Earth Kingdom. And he has gone on to become one of, if not the most rich and powerful people in all of Avatar.
Everyone knows you need a lawyer after a car accident.
Oh my god.
But what if I told you there's a better way? One, it gets you more money.
Keep it going.
Alright, there you go. Bet you didn't expect the My Cabbages guy to be the true villain of the show. You know, at least he doesn't seem to be doing it anymore. In fact, in Legend of Korra, his company is actually the main supplier of airships for the Earth Kingdom now. So, you know, it seems like he's gotten over his grudge. Maybe this is even his way of trying to make up for all the damage he's done to the Earth Kingdom. You know, maybe this story actually has a happy ending after all.
Don't worry, I have a plan. These airships that Cabbage Corp sold to the Earth Kingdom are way cheaper than the ones Future Industries built. Now that's just shoddy workmanship.
Oh my god. Oh my god. He's still fucking doing it.
Still fucking
Controls are
doing
busted.
it.
It's not my fault this airship's a hunk of junk.
Even generations later, the cabbage merchant is still secretly weakening the Earth Kingdom. But why? Is he still working for the Fire Nation? Wait a second. No, he can't be. In Legend of Korra, the Earth Kingdom and the Fire Nation are not enemies anymore. The new Fire Lord is even, like, super against the idea of fighting the Earth Kingdom.
The Fire Nation has spent too much of its history fighting nonsense wars, and I refuse to drag my nation into another one unless there's no other choice.
Why is the cabbage merchant still doing this? Who is he working for? Oh my god. It's so obvious. How did I miss this? The cabbage merchant is a member of the Red Lotus. The Red Lotus is an anarchist organization from Legend of Korra Book 3.
See, I don't know about this.
That there are more Red Lotus spies out there, even though we never actually end up seeing them.
And even with Zahir locked up again, we still don't know how many Red Lotus members might be out there, hiding.
That kind of sounds familiar. They hate governments and secretly took down the Earth Kingdom from within. You know, that actually kind of reminds me of someone. They hate the Avatar and even tried to kill her.
Now, destroy the Avatar!
Off with their heads! One for each head of cabbage!
And each member of the Red Lotus is a highly unique and specialized bender. Cabbage bending. No, that's crazy. He can't be. He's not an anarchist. He's just a funny cabbage guy. The Red Lotus is a group that originally split off from the White Lotus.
We are what the White Lotus was meant to be, but after the 100-Year War, the White Lotus lost its true purpose. Its members came out of hiding and openly served the Avatar.
And you know, you'd probably think that if they're just like the White Lotus but more extreme, their logo would probably be just a red version of the White Lotus's logo, but no. They did a full-on redesign. It doesn't even look like a lotus flower anymore. But you know what it does look like? A fucking cabbage! It's a fucking red cabbage! You can't keep getting away with this! Fuck! Okay, bye! Thanks for watching my fun-
Nah, that was a good ass video. No, let me see if I liked it. That was a good ass video. Alright, let's go to... What play this is. That was a good ass video, I'm not gonna lie. Is it laggy for y'all? One of my next videos. Let me see. Oh, the gym sounds good. Let's react to Joe Bartolozzi. Joe Bartolozzi.
Stop spending real money on in-game cosmetics. How? Using Buff. With the Buff app, you earn points by
That's all I can show. Don't want to get copyright.
Go this way? What the fuck? Oh my god, is that a Wendigo? I'm gonna close my eyes when I see him.
Oh my gosh, almost scared me. I can't even see it. My fucking face cam is covering it. Oh my god. Alright. She said, I'm gonna break my style. Alright, let's react to Pulling Over for Eating and Driving. This is by Daily Dose of Internet 3 days ago. Let's see.
Hello everyone, this is your Daily Dose of Internet. This police officer pulled him over because he thought the sandwich was a phone.
Wait, isn't it still illegal to eat and drive? Isn't that considered distracted driving?
Stop these and saw your cell phone when you're driving, okay?
That was a sandwich.
It was, I saw your phone.
My phone?
Yeah.
Oh.
It wasn't, I know what a sandwich looks like. It was your phone.
Okay.
Alright?
Yeah.
So it was a rectangular thing, whether it was your wallet, your phone, it looks like your phone.
Okay.
Alright? So that's why I'm pulling you over.
Okay.
All good? Alright?
Yeah.
Clearly fucking not! It was a sandwich, not a fucking phone.
Ya, pero vas a comer la lechuga. ¿Lechuga? ¿Lechuga?
Why? Let me go into full screen. Why are fucking chihuahuas so fucking mean for no reason? Like, I would kick the fuck out of it. Just fucking, or, just you know? I don't know, I'm just saying.
He dropped his phone while he was driving on the highway, and this is what the video footage looked like.
Hold on. Let me fix the lag, because it is lagging, right? Let me bit rate. Go down a little bit. Okay. Let's see if that worked. Oh shit, did I put apply? Sorry about this, guys. I'm just trying to make sure that it's working. Okay, and display.
This is where you drop it? Yeah. Oh, no!
That hoe's spinning on
That's kind of cool, though.
Yeah.
The fuck is this?
Your screen's not cracked? No way!
I think these muffins might be a little overdone.
Yo.
How? You really gotta be really fucking shitty at baking if you make a fucking brick. Popeye's biscuits. I'm just playing. Don't cancel me.
2, 3.
I didn't get any. Thank you so much.
This is the worst tortilla maker device ever.
What?
Oh my goodness. Hold on, I'll show you.
Don't you put it in the middle?
This police officer heard these balloons pop outside of his house and thought it was something a little more serious.
Damn, but he has to pick all that up now.
Вот это обман зрения, у меня только что инфаркт случился, я подумал, что в тачке горит.
Oh my god, I thought it was fucking the car was on fire.
So I found this website.
Oh
Why do
shit.
beluga whales
Do you think that
always
hurt
try to
his
scare children? This confused bird started doing a mating dance with her foot. Now, why was he doing this?
Yo. Okay, that's right. That's when you go. Right, you're sitting there, and he's pulling your hair. You just, you know, just don't touch me like that. You know, I never let nobody touch me like that.
They saw that they were about to land on top of a bunch of jellyfish.
Oh shit.
Someone thought it would be a good idea to build a beautiful hotel and pool right next to a jail. She couldn't figure out why her cat was in the closet. He was trying to send out a text message by using text-to-speech when this happened.
It's just fascinating. In the UK, they march forward on the 30th. Oh my god!
It says, well, that is just fascinating in the UK. They march forward on the 30th, but oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
He accidentally left a potato in the microwave for over 55 minutes. It really took him 5 business days to notice.
Let me see something real quick.
This guy was somehow able to outsmart the police. This company often has their employees work in icy conditions, so they set up a slippery obstacle course to train them.
What if you fall? Oh, they got a budget cord right there, so. Ah, what the fuck?
He got food delivered to his house, but he didn't want his parents to find out, so he requested to have the food go directly to his bedroom window.
Thank you.
Where did you learn to sit like that?
Yo.
Oh.
Sorry.
Oh my god!
Why would they just cut it open like that? What the hell? Dude, that's like a vibe.
Self-driving car cracking an April Fool's joke.
I'm gonna have to stop for gas. Just kidding. I'm all electric. Happy April Fool's Day.
Hey, that
What
concrete
the
looks
fuck?
good. Who did it? Who did this concrete?
My car. Okay, cool. I'm in labor with this one. Coyote!
They were celebrating because their team won.
Oh, his dentures, no! This is your daily dose of internet. I think that's enough of the daily dose. Let's put something else on. Let's see what else. The most avoidable deaths of all time. Alright. Oh my gosh.
Are you a Roblox fanatic? Microsoft Rewards has a brand new way for you to earn digital gift cards from Roblox.
Alright. Hold on. I'll go rush it. Coming down 30. Oh. Is it laggy? I don't know, just thought I wasn't interested in it. Now I'm trying to fix everything in there. Alright. We're back. Alright, let's get started.
Death by a lava
The most avoidable death. Let's go.
In 2004, 24-year-old Philip Quinn from Washington State was at home, watching his lava lamp do its thing. But apparently it wasn't doing its thing fast enough for his liking. Instead of waiting patiently, Quinn had an idea that no scientist would ever approve of. He put the lava lamp directly on the stove to speed up the process. Physics had
Okay, I had a lava lamp before, but I remember it always says it cautious extreme hot. I mean, I guess if it's already hot, but I don't know. Why would you think of
other plans? As the liquid inside overheated, the pressure built up until the lamp violently exploded. A glass shard shot across the room with enough force to pierce his chest, striking him in the heart. Quinn collapsed and died almost instantly.
I'm lucky. Saying it, I'm too nonchalant for that to happen to me.
When police arrived, they found the shattered remains of the lamp, and presumably a cautionary tale about why household items come with warning labels.
Did he
For the
die?
record, lava lamps already have a safety warning that explicitly states, "Do not heat this on a stove." A piece of advice that, if followed, probably would have saved his life.
I didn't know
David
that.
Grunman, death by cactus revenge. On February 4th, 1993,
Oh, I've heard about this one.
27-year-old David Grunman was out in the Arizona desert, armed with a shotgun and a questionable sense of judgment. He and his roommate had gone shooting, but instead of aiming at targets, David decided to take on Mother Nature herself by blasting away at a massive saguaro cacti. At first, things went as expected. He fired at a small cactus, watching it collapse in defeat. Encouraged by his success, he set his sights on a much larger 26-foot saguaro and unloaded his shotgun into it.
It fell on him or what?
Karma struck back. A massive 4-foot arm of the cactus broke off and fell directly on top of him. The weight of the spiny limb crushed him instantly, ending his cactus shooting career permanently. David was declared.
Oh, these are the most vulnerable deaths. Oh shit, I read that completely wrong. I thought they avoided the death.
A reminder that desert plants have survived for thousands of years, and they don't take.
Why would he be so close? I mean, I guess for
This could have
not
been avoided
should
if
not
they
like
just picked
shoot
a
other people
different
around.
hobby.
But if you're in the
Maybe
desert,
fishing,
I mean, I don't know.
or literally anything that doesn't involve shooting at 500-pound plants.
Yo, long
And
at it.
Steininger. Death by beard and
Oh, we're getting old.
Hans Steininger was a well-respected mayor in 16th century Austria, known for his wisdom, leadership, and an absolutely massive beard. At 4.5 feet long, it was less of a facial feature and more of an
What about my beard? My beard coming in? Probably as long as his, am I right?
accessory, one that he usually rolled up and tucked into his pocket like a Renaissance-era fashion statement. But one
This motherfucker's over here putting his beard in his pocket when I can barely fucking grow this shit.
day during a sudden fire in town, Steininger forgot to tuck in his beard before running to help. As he hurried down a flight of stairs, he stepped on it, tripped, and fell headfirst, breaking his neck. Yes, this man was literally taken down by his own beard.
What the fuck?
It's that at a certain length, a beard stops being stylish and starts being a tripwire. Elena Struthers Gardner, impaled by metal straw. Reusable straws are supposed to save the environment, but this one didn't even save a single person.
Metal straw?
In November 2019, in Broadstone, England, 60-year-old Lena Struthers Gardner, a retired jockey with mobility issues, was at home sipping from a mason jar with a built-in stainless steel straw. But as she walked through the kitchen, she suddenly lost her footing and fell. The metal straw, held firmly in place by the lid, did not budge. Instead, it impaled her left eye, driving straight into her brain. Her wife, Mandy, rushed in after hearing the sound of her collapse, only to find Lena making strange, gurgling noises. Emergency responders rushed her to the hospital, but the injury was too severe, and she passed away the next day.
That's when you.
Doctors
That's
later
when.
noted that if
That's when, right? This is what you're supposed to do when that happens. Okay. Right. Let me see if I. That's when you go right here. You fucking. That's. I mean, that will work. I feel like. Maybe we'll be in the car. Yeah, drive a fancy car.
the straw hadn't been held rigidly in place by the lid, it might have moved or bent upon impact. But because it was locked in, it turned into a miniature javelin waiting for an unfortunate victim. This tragedy sparked safety discussions around metal straws, because as it turns out, sharp, movable metal spikes near your face can in fact be dangerous. Who could have seen that coming?
Not me.
Jennifer Strange, overdosing on water. On January 12, 2007, 28-year-old Jennifer Strange from Sacramento, California, set out to win a Nintendo Wii for her kids. The contest, called Hold Your Wii for a Wii, was simple. Drink as much water as possible without urinating. Contestants kept chugging water, with the last person standing winning the console. At first, Jennifer laughed along with the hosts, but As she kept drinking, she started to feel lightheaded and nauseous. Eventually she left, telling coworkers she had a terrible headache and was going home. A few hours later, she was found dead in her bathroom. By drinking too much water too quickly,
why wouldn't you go to the hospital if you felt like
in her blood,
ugly?
causing her brain to swell dangerously. Essentially, her body drowned itself from the inside out, and she didn't even win the Wii. After her
Do you
death,
think that
her
shit would
family
hurt?
sued the radio station, which had ignored warnings from medical professionals about the risks of excessive water consumption. The case ended with a $16 million settlement.
She died.
Tragically, no
Doesn't
amount of
matter.
money could undo such an unnecessary and preventable death. Water is great, just don't drink it like it's a competition. Jimmy Heselden, death by Segway cliff dive. In 2010, British millionaire Jimmy Heselden, the owner of the Segway company, set up
What
to
is
test
his
a
aunt
new
doing?
all-terrain version of
What
his
is
product
aunt
on his
doing?
private estate. With plenty of open land to explore, it seemed like the perfect place for a smooth ride, except for one poorly placed cliff. While navigating the terrain,
Whoa.
Heselden somehow lost control near the edge, veered off the path, and tragically plunged 42 feet into a river below. Rescue teams arrived, but it was too late. The man who owned the Segway company had been defeated by the very thing he sold. This death could have been avoided by not testing a self-balancing scooter near the edge of a literal cliff, or maybe by installing
that scared
guardrails
me.
or just walking. Dr. Jacqueline Katarik, suffocation in chimney. In August 2010, Dr. Jacqueline Katarik, a 49-year-old physician from California, made a decision that can only be described as bold, ill-advised, and tragically final. She was in a turbulent relationship with a man named William Moody. One evening after an argument, Moody refused to see her, so she took matters into her own hands. First, she tried to break into his house with a shovel, which, unsurprisingly, didn't work. Then, instead of calling it a night and reconsidering her approach, she climbed onto the roof, removed the chimney cover, and decided to enter Santa style. Only one problem: chimneys aren't designed for human travel. She slid in feet first, expecting to land safely inside, but she gets stuck. Badly. When she didn't show up for work the next day, colleagues reported her missing. 3 days later, a house sitter noticed a strange smell coming from the fireplace. Firefighters spent
3 days
5 hours
later?
breaking apart the chimney to reach her. She had been trapped just 2 feet above the opening. The autopsy revealed that she had suffocated due to the extreme pressure on her chest, which made it impossible for her lungs to expand. Moody later expressed deep sadness over the tragic accident, calling it a
Dude, I
horrendously
feel like
bad
that would
decision
fucking,
that
like,
cost her life.
hurt.
This entire situation could have been avoided by simply walking away, or at the very least, choosing a break-in method that didn't involve entering a narrow stone tunnel. Vladimir Lakonos. Death by exploding chewing gum. In December 2009, 25-year-old Vladimir Lakonos, a chemistry student from Ukraine, was doing what a lot of students do: chewing gum while studying. But unlike most people, he had a habit of dipping his gum in citric acid to make it extra sour. On this particular day,
Okay, that's some
Vladimir
shit I
grabbed
would
a
do,
small
to be
white
honest.
powder from his desk, dipped his gum, popped it in his mouth, and started chewing. Only it wasn't citric acid. It was a highly explosive chemical compound he had been working with in his lab. Within seconds, the gum detonated inside his mouth. The blast was so powerful that it blew off his jaw and lower face, killing him instantly. His parents, hearing the explosion, rushed in, only to find an unspeakable scene. When police investigated, they found 2 identical
Yo, what the
containers,
fuck?
one with citric acid, the other with a volatile explosive powder. In a tragic mix-up, he had grabbed the wrong one. This accident could have been avoided by labeling things properly. It also serves as an important lesson. If you're going to eat something, make sure it's actually food. As bizarre as these stories may be, it's important to remember that these were real people, with real lives. This video isn't about making fun of them. It's a reminder of how even the smallest decisions can have deadly consequences. So let's respect the dead, learn from their mistakes, and maybe, just maybe, think twice before making any life choices that could end up in a video like this.
Damn, good video. Really good video. Wow. Leave it like. Good video. Maybe we'll be in the car. Alright, what's next? That was a good video. It's crazy how some of them died though. Let me see. Alright, we got 2 more videos. How long have we been live for? I don't even know. Let me see. 50 minutes? Yeah, 2 more videos. Horrors on YouTube Kids. Excuse me. Excuse me.
When YouTube first
let me start recording.
launched in 2005, it very obviously was not intended for kids. Not a lot of people know this, but the platform you're watching this video on right now was originally built to be a dating site.
Dating website?
Yeah.
So, I could have been like, so fine shit. You saw my YouTube video? Like, you saw my YouTube video? Fine shit. You know, reacting to, cows eating poop. Oh, fuck, I don't know, but you seen that shit shot? Think that shit was hot? Like, what? How?
The idea was that you would upload a video introducing yourself, and then you could watch introduction videos from other users and message them if you liked what you saw. Kind of like those weird dating videotapes from the 80s and 90s.
Oh, so he was trying to make like something like a, what was it called? Like a, I would say Facebook, but I don't know. Were they created around the same way? I don't know.
I'm a nice fellow. I don't know. I'm particularly attracted to black women and women of different races.
What the fuck?
If you like me, give me a call.
This idea...
No, this is how I do mine. Hold on. I'll start the video like this. Let me show y'all. Hello there. So, you might not know this, but, my name is Josh. I like to, go outside, I work, I don't know, I mean, if you like me, I like you, and we can get romantical, what else were they doing in the 2000s, yeah, my name is Josh. I like to do things. It's kind of embarrassing for me. I've never done anything like this before. So, yeah, if y'all like me, ladies, y'all know where I'm at. My number is 1-2-3-4-420-6969.
It wasn't very successful. In fact, according to one of YouTube's founders, Javed Karim, nobody was uploading dating introduction videos. But some people were using the site to upload other sorts of content. Dog videos, clips of family vacations. There didn't really need to be any sort of gimmick to make YouTube work. People are just happy to have an easy way to share their home videos with others online. YouTube may have launched as a dating site in February 2005.
YouTube is older than me. It was the same year. Fuck, I'm Unk.
But by June of that year, they had completely rebranded and revamped the platform to remove all traces of its odd dating site beginnings. Much like other blossoming social media platforms at the time, YouTube's majority demographic for the first few years of its existence were teenagers. This is pretty clear when you look at all the major YouTube stars in the early days of the site, who mostly appear to be high school or college students. I personally started using YouTube in 2007 when I was 11 years old. Back then, the only good way to use the site was to visit it in a browser on a computer, whether it was a laptop or desktop. Tablets didn't exist back then, the modern form of smartphones were still in their most primordial form, and were mostly relegated to a select few tech enthusiasts.
Damn, that's just fucking old. I never had one though. Yeah, obviously, I was fucking like 4 years old. But that's fucking old.
And the only way to watch YouTube on a TV was to hook up a computer to it and use it as a monitor, which most people couldn't even do because CRTs were still the most widespread form of TV at the time, and the vast majority of tube TVs don't support the digital I/O a computer needs. In short, YouTube was inconvenient, and that really prevented it from being used as a serious platform for anything. But that wouldn't be the case for very long. In the early 2010s, smartphones capable of high-speed cellular connections would explode and become widely adopted. iPads would kick off the consumer tablet market, which also exploded. People would swap their bulky, aging CRT TVs for cheap and higher quality LCD.
There's no way the Wii was that old where you guys have played on that shitty TV. There's no way. I remember having like a, oh maybe I did get it like sometime afterwards, but the Wii, no way it's that old. How old is the Wii? Hold on, let me check. How old is the Wii? Let's see. The Wii is How old is the Wii? The Wii was released on November 19, 2006. Dude, what the fuck? It doesn't even feel like that long ago. What the hell? Wow.
DVD panels, which could not only act as a computer monitor, but YouTube would even begin offering apps for game consoles and streaming boxes like Apple TV, which were also becoming widely adopted. Gone were the days of sitting at your desk to watch Smosh's Food Battle. Now you could watch PewDiePie on basically any media consumption device you owned. And you know what people started doing? They began using YouTube as a babysitter. Using traditional TV to keep your child docile meant keeping them in a specific room where the television was. But now, you could just hand them an iPad while you work in your office or cook a meal in the kitchen.
Damn.
Alright, so listen up. State Farm was trying to charge me $197 for car insurance. No thank you.
I don't care.
Tack on the fact that YouTube is free to use while other streaming services or cable all cost money, and YouTube began to be flooded with very young and impressionable viewers as the 2010s rolled on.
Damn, so since 2009 they fucking had kids on this shit?
The limited amount of child-focused content on YouTube at the time was getting an enormous amount of attention, with some videos even amassing hundreds of millions of views. Obviously, there was potentially a lot of money to be made by making videos aimed towards children, and I'm sure a lot of you know how that turned out.
Oh no.
As long as television has been around, there's been an ongoing argument as to what is and isn't okay for children to be watching. Some people say kids should only be consuming educational content, or TV with some sort of moral lesson to teach. Some people think it's not a big deal if children are watching foreign junk food
gotta
kind of
catch
shows
them
online.
all.
Regardless though, whatever is on TV is generally governed by some sort of code of ethics. Broadcasters all have a reputation to uphold, and no category of television gets quite as scrutinized as kids' TV. But on YouTube in the mid-2010s,
oh my
the only
god.
scrutiny children...
Do y'all remember watching that shit, dude? Like, I remember my sister would put that on, but I don't know, dude. That shit felt like so long ago. For like 6 years ago, 8 years ago. When was this published? It doesn't even say when it was. 2014? Oh my gosh, it's almost been 10 years.
Channels faced was YouTube's then fairly lax moderation system. There was no code of ethics or enforced morality. The only thing that mattered was whether or not you were getting views. As a result, a culture of shocking kids content emerged on YouTube, which you probably already know as ElsaGate. Sleazy creators would make videos of popular kids characters like Elsa from Frozen, getting into obscene and often graphically violent situations. I probably don't need to tell you much about ElsaGate since you almost certainly know what it was about, but simply put, being a young child on YouTube in the mid-2010s...
Yo, what the fuck is that? Y'all can't see it because my face is in the way, but...
meant being confronted with your favorite characters getting their limbs torn off, being injected with mystery chemicals, getting pregnant, and other bizarre and shocking scenarios that only served one purpose. Stand out from other creators so your videos get more views and you make more money. ElsaGate was a giant controversy, and YouTube would begin to try to mitigate the platform's issues that had caused such a depraved niche to emerge. They'd slowly harden their content moderation system to the point where even saying certain words in a video was enough to get it age restricted and demonetized, as every YouTuber is well aware of. They'd release a completely separate app called YouTube Kids that only contained a more curated selection of channels deemed appropriate for children, which would eventually go on to solely feature human review channels. But most importantly for our story, in 2020, YouTube would give creators the ability to mark their own videos as made for kids. It was clear that many parents were not using YouTube Kids, and were still just
is this YouTube video just saying... Is this anything interesting? Bad, this shit. Boring video. Let me see. Alright, let's do this. Memes and then one stream. The fuck was that?
Вадим, у тебя будильник хуярит. Алло! Вадим! Вадим! Вадим!
Oh yeah, it takes me like fucking 5 alarms.
No.
Yo no sé el corazón roto. Yamarara ya. I'm probably butchering that fucking song, man. Dude, my B-rate's like bad right now. Oh my god, this shit's stupid as fuck. Like again.
Get off. Get off the floor. No. No.
What
dude,
the
you
fuck?
can't put that there. My house isn't for sale. You gotta get out of here, seriously. Oh, I didn't know
Holy
you were still like that.
shit.
Sell whatever you want.
Do you mind if I put a poster in your window? It's from my mom. She's missing.
Oh, gosh. Go ahead.
Your Papa? He wanted you to have this.
Mama, wait.
I absolve you of your sins. You have been forgiven.
I love that fucking video.
Can I have please Kratos? I want Kratos. Kratos.
Depends on the weapon and the man.
What the fuck?
Your ass now. Open the door. Open the door. Hi, my name is Snapple. My background consists of watermelon and lemonade. The more you open this door and the more you hold me, my temperature goes down and I'm not drinkable no more. Close the goddamn door!
You just put the lighter in there?
No, you didn't.
Disregard.
Kids, you just put the lighter in the fire. Say how God you put it in. Seriously.
Yeah, I did.
No, you didn't.
I should have. I didn't. I don't know. I did that.
Did you?
Red and yellow make orange. Blue and red make purple.
That's tough. They got you locked up for life, my boy. The hell wrong with you?
Hey,
Yeah, you good, Tom?
Mm-hmm.
You sure? Let's get him eyes.
Damn, you gotta be some type of fuck up to do that shit. Did you push me, cuz?
Extended clip, this 30 clip, Mac. I'm tweaking.
Your shit sounds strong as hell.
Oh my god.
You like it, huh? Yeah, try it out. And if you push the white button, this is the speed button. It goes even faster, you see? That's right. Oh, be careful. Yeah, okay. Full speed.
Every time someone joins my live, I'm literally taking the toothpick and eating out the fish tank, eating all the shark, and
Nah.
Gotta make a move to a town that's right for me.
This dude Michael's been texting me all night, bro. Shit. What the fuck?
7、12变怎么样的变？记住4个字的口诀。第一个字叫做摸上边，第2个字你看摸它下边，第3个字你看摸它的左边，第4个字你看摸它右边，摸完它的上边，再摸它的下边，摸完它的左边，再摸右边，两个手一拉，一顿往下这么插，你看倒着就能变，它叫彩虹桥，然后顶着就能变，它叫十孔。
Gonna get him good.
I know, it's been so good. She's so good.
Yo, no, I'll give you $20 if you throw your...
Kevin.
Dude, I want to get a dog, but I just want to get it.
Wouldn't that be the top?
What the fuck, bro? You won't believe it. You lying? How much, bro? You won't believe it. You lying? I know you lying. Bro, you will not believe it. Come inside. You lying, bro? I'm not lying, bro.
$2, that's fucked up.
I'm lying.
Sit. Will you be my Valentine?
Damn, fuck that bitch.
Imagine Instagramming. Maybe you could learn your Instagrammer.
Good cream.
Just off the side.
Stop playing with me, man!
This thing's got 3 speeds. Here, there, and gone. It's got the power of infinity and beyond.
This
You hear what I'm
motherfucker.
saying?
Blow the grass. Blow the grass. Blow the grass.
Why don't you get in the position of your driver's seat and go?
I can't see you, what I'm trying to tell you.
Just get in your driver's seat and go.
Damn, what don't women understand about men?
Cheeseburgers.
Selena Gomez said that she wants to cut your hair.
Yeah.
Did you hear that?
I didn't hear that, but
What do you think
it
about
sounds like something she'd say. I like that laugh.
I'll be pissed.
You don't have the look of a YouTuber. It's not just about followers. It's about a brand.
What do you mean? I look exactly like a YouTuber. Look.
I lost my phone.
For so many years, I thought that there was something wrong with me. That I was the black sheep and I needed to change my personality. And after a lot of time and consideration, I realized who I was. I'm a piece of shit.
You know, other people that are my age and they're just kind of just...
Can we talk about the... What the fuck is this?
Signs that you are not straight.
Number 1.
You like boy.
Up at their tiny post, Ryan and his team were being pounded. Almost.
Good video, but I don't know. Not what I want right now. Let me see. What's a good one right now? Watch this one.
Accelerated degrees in cybersecurity. ECPI University.
ECPI was a big draw for me.
Go to extratug.com for exclusive comedy content that YouTube won't let me post, as well as perks that you have to see to believe. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to 4K filming. Bought a new camera. We're gonna piss right past
Oh,
that.
shit.
Do not mention my eczema. So The Simpsons. You guys know The Simpsons, right? Unless you know The Simpsons, right? The Simpsons is the longest running show in American television history. A comedy institution and an animated Nostradamus. It gave us iconic characters such as Homer Simpson, Bart Simpson, Lisa Simpson, and the whole gang in the background.
Dude, I played this one game. Let me show y'all. Let me see. I don't know if y'all know this game, but let me try to find it. What the fuck is this? This shit came out in 2007? Let's see. It was this one, I believe. This one. Let me show you. This is the one that I saw right here. I don't know if you have played it, but it was pretty good. I liked it. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I just thought about it right now. Seeing if anybody else played it. The Simpsons.
Go to extratalk.com for exclusive comedy content that YouTube won't let me post, as well. Television history, a comedy institution, and an animated Nostradamus. It gave us iconic characters such as Homer Simpson, Bart Simpson, Lisa Simpson, and the whole gang in the background. And the Simpsons have been around for so long that the things they were making fun of are the things that they're now known for. Like Krusty the Clown was making fun of like Bozo the Clown, but people don't remember Bozo the Clown, so now Krusty the Clown is just its own thing. It's very confusing. Weird thing that can happen if a show runs for more than 20 years. But the Simpsons have done much more than, push the envelope and have a great comedy history. They've done a couple weird things.
Oh shit, my bad. Sorry, getting hectic around here.
In their past, they've predicted a lot of things that have happened in the world. They've predicted so much that you'd assume that the entire writing staff was, just a bunch of physicists doing some time travel But no, it's just staffed by a bunch of Harvard graduates, for some reason. And a lot of them. There's a lot of Harvard graduates that came out of that writing room. Since its debut in 1989, The Simpsons has been a revolving door of Ivy League chuckleheads, counting over 30 Harvard alumni writers. So I guess if you hire the brightest minds in the world to write for your TV show, two things happen. Really well-written jokes about alcoholic fathers and peeks into the future for some reason. From science to sports, politics, and pop culture, this cartoon is practically clairvoyant. So get ready to eat your shorts, because we're gonna look on the psychic side of The Simpsons. Eat Your Shorts has, it's like bringing up Rick and Morty nowadays. Like, Eat Your Shorts has been said so many times that it's cringe. And that's insane because it's such a
I have never fucking heard that anymore.
So to begin, when
Alright,
you
I
think
never
of science,
heard
the
that.
town of Springfield is probably not your first thought. Yes, they have that weird little scientist character, and yes, Homer works at a nuclear power plant, but both of those things are the signs of the time, because nuclear energy was a big deal in the 90s, and once again, the show is very old. However, the Simpsons have their grubby little yellow fingerprints all over every innovation that's happened in the last 30 years. In 1964, scientists proposed a theory that explained how particles gained mass. If true, this so-called God particle would help us really understand what the Big Bang was. And I'm talking about the theory, not that dog TV show, that laugh track. It shocks me every time I watch it. People laugh so hard in that audience over the most mundane things. I don't know how you could legally get away with that. It would take nearly 50 years, but in 2012, we discovered the God particle using the Large Hadron Collider. But those scientists could have saved themselves about 14 years of trial and error, because in 1998, Homer Simpson discovered it. Actually, that happened. In the episode The Wizard of Evergreen Terrace, Homer tries to become a renowned inventor like Thomas Edison. It's one of my favorite episodes ever, and that's the episode where we get the joke where Homer makes a makeup shotgun, and then he shoots it on the wall, and he says he accidentally set it to whore. Just a very good joke, well written. And he also makes other things, like hamburger earmuffs and a chair that's also a toilet. I'm sorry to be explaining Simpsons jokes, but kids these days don't really watch The Simpsons, and it's kind of sad. You guys should watch The Simpsons. It's on.
Yeah, I really didn't really start watching The Simpsons until like I was a little bit of older, because my parents didn't want me to watch it, so I wouldn't really watch it. But I watch it now sometimes here and there, and it's a pretty good show. I don't know why they. I mean, I get why they wouldn't let me watch it, but it's a good show. I like it.
On Disney, I think. But in one random fateful scene, Homer is just working out some on a chalkboard. And if you take the time, like you screenshot that equation and you try and solve it, you get incredibly close to the actual nanomass of the God particle. Which is, what the Why? Of course, as smart as the Simpsons writers are, they can't take all the credit for this one. They actually contracted a professor at MIT to help come up with the formula Homer would scrawl on the chalkboard. So even though this didn't come out of the writers of The Simpsons, the fact that Homer got this close to figuring this out is beyond me. Like, why would you hire an MIT writer to make a joke that no one would understand? And why didn't that guy just solve the... It's fucking crazy. Let's move on to another episode called Civilian Space
Oh, wait.
Shuttle.
Why didn't the scientist or the professor just do it? Like, he could have just done it. And we would have probably been advanced by now. We have flying cars and all this, but I don't know.
Which happened in Season 5, Episode 15. Long before billionaire Elon Musk assumed his role as Dick Cheney-esque puppet master of Donald Trump, his private rocket company, SpaceX, started...
Have you guys seen the SpaceX? Did you see the SpaceX? I saw it. That shit was pretty cool. All the time. Log back in.
Started sending civilians to the final frontier. In 2021, the first all-civilian crew was launched into orbit, and if you're some Richie Rich who can pay their way to the moon, more power to you. But personally, I do not want to ride a rocket...
Did they have to go into training? I mean, I don't know. It feels like they should go to training. If they didn't, then that's kind of fucking crazy. But I feel like they should have gone to fucking training or something like that.
Ship into space without at least one person knowing what the fuck is going on. I don't want fucking Jimbo from Connecticut to be sitting next to me. I want an astronaut. But when it comes to woefully underqualified dudes going into space, Homer Simpson did it first. In the 1994 episode, as I said earlier, Deep Space Homer, NASA selects Homer to take a flight on the space shuttle to help the agency gain publicity. Ironically, The Simpsons creator Matt Groening didn't want to write this episode because he thought it was too unrealistic, which... not really anymore, buddy, and had the writers take some of the jokes down a notch to focus on the dynamic between Homer and his family. But it became a classic episode, thanks in part to guest appearance from Buzz
I've never seen this
Aldrin. And
episode.
the episode was so popular that real-life astronaut Edward Liu requested a copy for it in the International Space Station. So The Simpsons predicted regular people going to space, which it was going to happen eventually, but they really nailed the vibe of it. And then in 1995, there was another episode. This is going to, I mean, it's just all episodes. This is what we sat down for, right? BuzzFeed-esque article. In the 1995 episode, Lisa's wedding, Lisa visits a Renaissance fair where she is asked a fortune teller about her true love. The clairvoyant shows Lisa her wedding, which takes place in 2010, 15 years into the future. Honestly, this isn't that far-fetched. You go to a Ren fair and someone will give you some bullshit about your future. I made a whole video about it. But a Simpsons episode that takes place a little bit in the nearby future is a perfect incubator for predictions. And this episode might have the best string of predictions in any 30-minute block of regular television ever. They had teleconference technology like Skype or FaceTime. That was when I was a kid, I was watching that. I was like, yeah, for sure. That was not a thing. They just made that a bold prediction, and it happened so fast. And they had smartwatches. They literally had fucking Siri on their thing. And I know that the Jetsons probably had that too, but they nailed the feel of it. They even have a few visual gags that are pretty much predictions themselves, like how the night sky is intentionally made a reddish color to represent the continued environmental damage and pollution, and a 2010 Rolling Stone tour poster on Lisa's wall that pokes fun at the suggestion that the then 30-year-old band would never stop touring, which as of 2025 is still very accurate. All right, let's move away from the science, because they did a lot of science shit, but there's way more than all these pages. Predictions. So Pete Rose holds the record for number of hits in the league of Major League Baseball. But because of a gambling scandal, he's not in the Hall of Fame. But you know who is? Fucking Homer Simpson. It was purely ceremonial, but in 2017, Homer was inducted into the Major League Hall of Fame because of the episode Homer at Bat. And you might think that's the end-all be-all, but that's not even close to the largest contribution that the Simpsons have done to the history of sports. The Simpsons have a pretty great track record of predicting the biggest game in all of sports, the Super Bowl. And I know you guys are going to say the World Cup. I'm an American. I don't give a shit about that. It's the Super Bowl. In fact, in the early 90s, they went on a legendary streak. It started in the 1992 episode Lisa the Greek, when Homer realizes Lisa is a natural at placing bets. Under the guise of daddy-daughter dates, Homer would ask Lisa of, like, gambling tips every Sunday and would get rich off that. Eventually, Lisa catches on to the whole thing, but we're not here to talk about plot. I'm here to talk about the fact that she predicted that the Washington Redskins would win Super Bowl 26. And I know they're not called the Washington Redskins anymore, but it was back then. The episode aired on Fox a few days before the actual game, and Lisa's pick was right. And then Fox re-aired the same episode the next year, Super Bowl 27, and they did a different voice line where Lisa repicks it, and Lisa, once again, accurately predicted that the Dallas Cowboys would win. It's a shirt. If Lisa mentions the football team, put your life savings on it. The following year, Fox again re-aired the episode before the Super Bowl. But they didn't have to lift a finger this time because the Super Bowl 28 was just a rematch of Super Bowl 27. And once again, the Dallas Cowboys won.
What?
It's like, that's the whole thing. That was the fact that she could pick bets, and she's doing it in real life. For 3 straight years, the The smart money was to put it on Lisa Simpson. Not any, just put on whatever the f she says. And 20 years after that, The Simpsons would predict another Super Bowl. But only this time, it was the halftime entertainment. 5 years before it happened in real life, Lady Gaga performed at the Super Bowl in The Simpsons. And yeah, she was a big star at the time, and you could assume that at one point she'd get the Super Bowl role, but it was weird because the outfit she was wearing in the episode was shockingly similar to the one she actually wore at the Super Bowl.
No, that's actually really crazy.
And suspended above the crowd like they said she would be in the episode. And now this could all be a sly nod to the fact that like she was actually trying to recreate what she did in The Simpsons, but that seems like a whole lot, but could be. Regardless, she made a prediction come true. And remember when I was just talking shit about the World Cup? Well, The Simpsons also does some shit about the World Cup. In 2014, The Simpsons tackled the other football, soccer, in the episode You Don't Have to Live Like a Referee. This was the first episode to take place in Brazil since the country nearly sued Fox for the 2002 episode Blame It on Lisa. In that episode, it wasn't a good depiction. You know, The Simpsons doesn't have a clear track record of not being racist. They showed Rio de Janeiro as like a place filled with like gangs and violence and street rats. Wasn't good, but Brazil eventually backed off from the lawsuit after The Simpsons apologized. Kind of. James L. Brooks, one of the creators of the show, said, "We apologize to the lovely city of Rio de Janeiro, and if that doesn't settle the issue, Homer Simpson offers to take on the president of Brazil on Fox's Celebrity Boxing."
Oh, what the fuck?
You, but it was you could see it as a genuine apology. 12 years later, the Simpsons family visited South America again after Homer is invited to referee at the World Cup after a scandal caused a zebra shortage. Apparently, zebras are what cool sports guys call reps. I don't know anything about that, but it was in the script. So here comes the prediction. Not only did The Simpsons predict that Germany would win the World Cup that year, but in 2015, the scandal storyline also came true. 14 officials from FIFA, the governing body of soccer, were indicted by the U.S. Department of Justice. They were accused of conspiracy and corruption, including $150 million in bribes and kickbacks for bids to host the World Cup. So, like I said again, it was, it wasn't a clear prediction. And yes, it was kind of like hanging fruit because everyone knew FIFA was corrupt at the time, but they nailed that prediction and they nailed Germany. So two of those at once makes it seem like they actually knew what the future was going to be like. And they also predicted some shit about curling. You guys know about curling?
Do y'all actually think that the Simpsons actually know some stuff? Like, I honestly think they know what's going on. Or, fuck, that's hard to say. I don't know. I think they do. Because I would like to believe it, but I don't know. That's crazy. I don't know. Who knows?
I don't think it's a surprise to anyone that the U.S. has never really been known as a dominant force in the sport of curling. Curling feels like the domain of a country that's only really good at hockey. You know what I'm saying? They're around ice a lot. If you grow up and your leg's frozen over and you can't afford a stick, well, just slide that puck and see how close you can get it to other pucks. You know what I'm saying? This is why the 2010 episode Boy Meets Curl was funny, even in its very conception. In the history of the U.S. Olympics, America has only been able to win bronze once in 2006. We are not good at curling. So when Marge and Homer win Olympic gold in curling by beating Sweden, it almost feels like absurdist humor. So us winning that medal is silly on paper. We would never do that. But then we did do that. In 2018, the U.S. Olympic team for curling won the gold, and who did they beat? Sweden! What the f*** is going on? Okay, so the Simpsons know sports and the Simpsons know science. They know the future for both of those things. So what else do they know? Well, one thing the Simpsons could have never predicted was their very own popularity. So let's go a little meta right now. Ironically, the show became ingrained in the same American culture it regularly poked fun of. In fact, in 1998, Time magazine named Bart Simpson one of the most influential people of the 20th century. You can even argue that things took such a weird turn at the end of the century that it took a cartoon like The Simpsons to help us honestly examine ourselves. But despite all of that, or maybe in light of it, they were nailing shit left and right when it came to pop culture. For example, Siegfried and Roy. Siegfried and Roy is going to be one of the harder things to explain to future generations, in my opinion. These two German-American magicians met on a cruise ship. What a start. Then they decided to develop a stage show that relied on white lions and white tigers, and eventually became a marquee act at the Mirage in Las Vegas. And if you're gonna go to Vegas, you want to see some lions on stage, goddammit. And that's because of them. That's their whole shtick. They are the lion magicians. They were so wildly popular that Michael Jackson recorded the theme song for their show. Their obsession with big cats transcended the stage. They let lions and tigers roam around their Vegas estate like they were normal house cats. And it might seem weird now, but even at the time, it was still pretty fucking weird that they were doing that. And if something was weird enough, that means The Simpsons would parody it. Is that, am I saying that right? They made fun of it in 1993. In the episode Springfield, and the S is a dollar sign, Mr. Burns hires a tiger-handling duo to perform at his new casino. And as you would expect, it would end in a tiger attack. This is The Simpsons. They're gonna make fun of it. And yes, that's something that you would always expect. But then a decade later, it happened. One of the guys got fucking mauled by a tiger on stage. He barely escaped his life and became partially paralyzed. And you have to give credit to The Simpsons for calling their shot that early in the game. But I mean, come on. That was gonna happen. You're fucking around with tigers on stage.
That's true.
kill you. And by the way, I don't feel bad for Siegfried or Roy. They're a great gay icon story, but they bred and sold big cats and subjected them to lives of captivity. So that's not conservation, that's animal abuse. And I don't want to get into this right now, but I love big cats, and you're being mean to them. Moving down the line, let's talk about Michelangelo's statue of David, an icon of the artistic world. When you think of art, you think of this.
The fuck is that? Foreskin?
The statue, but art is always subjective, and that's when things get
Oh,
dicey.
it's a
In
rag.
2016, a Russian woman complained about a replica of David in St. Petersburg, claiming it warped children's minds because of the penis. Because they saw a penis. And then in 2023, a principal at a Christian charter school was forced to resign after parents complained that David was pornographic. But this controversy, if you could imagine, was predicted by The Simpsons in 1990. In the episode Itchy and Scratchy and Marge helps create and organize a group that attempts to censor the incredibly violent Itchy and Scratchy show. The concerned parents of Springfield get their way, and a scrubbed clean version of Itchy and Scratchy is televised. Feeling emboldened, the organization sets their sights on censoring a traveling exhibition of David. And honestly, I don't know if this was a prediction. It was more of making fun of fucking gung-ho parents that want to fucking censor everything, but then it actually happened. Not only in Russia, but in America. Like, this is art, and you want to put a fucking sock over the dick? Just leave it alone. This idea is called the slippery slope fallacy. The idea is that you cannot assume one action will lead to another. However, The Simpsons were right in this case, so you guys, I don't know. And they also predicted all this Fox shit that happened. They nailed every aspect of it. Watching The Simpsons on Disney Plus is strange, seeing as they completely predicted the Fox-Disney merger in 1998. It was just a quick sight gag that just said that Fox was a division of Disney, but it was still 20 years ahead of the $71 billion merger between Disney and Fox. It might not be a huge jump to conclusions, seeing as Disney was acquiring everything in the 90s. They got huge properties left and right, including Miramax in 1993 and ABC in 1996. And personally, I believe the only reason why someone would have a Disney Plus account is if they're a fucking Star Wars nerd, but then they delete it because they find out all the Star Wars movies suck, or it's because they want to watch The Simpsons, or Bluey. They also have Bluey. But it's just crazy because The Simpsons have historically shit on Fox and Disney so goddamn hard that I cannot believe that Disney would be even remotely interested in putting it on their platforms. But here we are. I mean, we're in a dystopian future, and the Simpsons knew it was going to happen. Okay, so The Simpsons got science, sports, pop culture. I'm sure they got politics in the pocket. The Simpsons has never been an explicitly political show, although they never really shy away from satirizing politics. But in 1992, the show was swept up as a part of growing culture war waged by conservative politics. President Bush made headlines after he gave a speech to the national religious broadcasters where he said, "We are going to keep on trying to strengthen the American family, to make American families a lot more like the Waltons and a lot less like the Simpsons." That was not a great impression of the original President Bush, but I feel like he's a little nerd, and that's how I made him sound. Accordingly, The Simpsons mercilessly made fun of Bush as a shitty next-door neighbor in season 7. But okay, we know the Simpsons kind of turned on the political jets at one point, but just how far did they go? Well, in 2007, The Simpsons finally made a movie, and it is probably one of the best movies ever to come out of the cartoon world.
I remember this movie. This movie is like really, really good. If y'all haven't seen it, y'all should go watch it. It's a really good movie. I'm pretty sure he's gonna go over it right now, but it's a really, really, really good movie.
It is so fucking funny, non-stop jokes, it's fantastic. But in the process, they accidentally made one of their most unsettling predictions. In the film, Lisa worries she's becoming too outspoken about the dome the Environmental Protection Agency places over Springfield. When she expresses her concern for the situation, Marge tries to calm her down by saying, I quote, "It's not like the government is listening to every conversation." We didn't know at the time. And then the next scene cuts to a room where the government is doing exactly that. And at the time when that movie came out, that was a joke. We didn't know what was going on, like I said. 6 years later, Edward Snowden leaked classified documents revealing that the National Security Agency was, in fact, listening to everybody's conversations. Spying on U.S. citizens without probable cause came after 9/11 with the Patriot Act. So Americans weren't paying attention. We were all wearing American flag shirts and being like, you, Middle East. And even though the Patriot Act expired in 2020, it established protocols for spying that remains in the government today. Cool prediction, I guess. You nailed it. One thing that the Simpsons movie didn't get right is that...
I think they're still listening to me. Alright, to my conversation, or to all of us. Because I be saying some random shit to my friends or to my fiance. We be talking and all that. And then I put on YouTube, and a couple of minutes into the video, they show me an ad of what I was just talking about. Like, for example, we were talking about formula for my baby. And it comes up for a video of the exact brand we're talking about. And it showed that. And then I look up, or not look up, I was talking about insurance for my car. And then the next ad plays, and it's fucking the insurance I was talking about. I'm being so deadass. Lock in. They know what we're doing. They know what we're talking about. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Schwarzenegger would become president. But unfortunately, they captured
He
the
did become-
dipped politician aesthetic so well that they accidentally predicted something else. In the movie, there's a famous line that he says, I was elected to lead, not to read. And like he doesn't want to read a book. It's making fun of dumbass politicians. But 4 years later, a former Godfather's Pizza CEO named Herman Cain ran for Republican presidential nomination. And then he literally said, at a rally in New Hampshire, Cain paraphrased President Schwarzenegger when he said, "We need a leader, not a reader."
Why am I getting into that right now?
What happened to America? He was also an outspoken opponent of wearing masks during COVID, and then he died of COVID. So, to each their own. They really nailed a bunch of shit about politics, actually. In the 1993 episode Marge in Chains, great pun there, they went for the hat trick of creepy predictions. All in one episode. They got 3 of them. They included a global virus that was eerily similar to COVID called the Osaku flu, and a subsequent killer bee outbreak that mirrored the appearance of murder hornets in the US in 2019. So a bunch of sad shit. However, the most damning prediction came at the...
I am so lucky I did not get fucking stung by one of those. I don't think it was in Texas, but I don't know, dude. Like, I'm allergic to bees and hornets, but I'm just so glad I didn't get into it, because apparently, like, that shit hurts bad. I'm pretty sure I would have fucking died. I'm not even gonna lie.
Expensive Mayor Quimby, who comically left Springfield at the mere mention of Osaku flu. Obviously, that was a joke. Politicians are there to lead their people. They're not scared little babies that would leave at the first sign of trouble. Correct? That would be unless they're from Texas and named Ted Cruz. Fuck you, Ted Cruz. Texas senator and inbred Alamo troll.
I was
Ted
just
Cruz
fucking
went to
talking about
Mexico
Texas.
while the Lone Star State was in the middle of a winter storm that left millions without electricity, water, or heat. But you know what you guys did? You elected him again. You did.
But you know who did? H-E-B! I'm just saying, H-E-B was there for us. Best groceries. If y'all don't know what H-E-B is, it's a grocery store, and they fucking are the best. I without a doubt, if H-E-B was everywhere in the United States, nobody else would fucking... Nobody would go to any different grocery stores. H-E-B is one of the best stores, and I don't know. I'm not going to talk about Ted Cruz.
Yeah. Why do you want Ted Cruz on the holding the wheel? Why do you guys like Ted Cruz that much? It's fucking weird what you people do. And then we got to talk about Trump. What Trump did, what the predictions that they did for Trump. There's a lot of them. They really predicted what Trump was all about. When the episode Bart to the Future came out in early 2000, it wasn't very well received. At the time, Entertainment Weekly actually called it the worst Simpsons episode ever. If only they knew just how bad things would be after 16 years. In the episode, Bart goes to I believe, a Native American casino, and he's shown his future if he doesn't change his ways. And in that vision, it is revealed that Lisa would be the U.S. president. And Chris, I don't know if you can play the clip. I don't know how bad I'm gonna get fucking screwed by the copyright system, but whatever. If you can't show the clip, do it now. She says we have to really fix the deficit that was left for us after President Trump. Oh, man, that's crazy. And it actually wasn't as far-fetched as it seemed, because in 1999, I don't know if people knew this, but Trump kind of teased the fact that he would run as a president, and he said Oprah would be his running mate. So, a black woman, things have changed considerably. And also, just so you guys know, that clip of Trump coming down the escalator that did the rounds, like the viral thing that the Simpsons predicted that was made by a fan. Like, that wasn't actually in a Simpsons episode. It's important that you know that. But they did do the other Look, I know after 35 years of television, you're bound to accidentally predict a few things. Pulling predictions from large data sets is actually a concept explored by a pair of Harvard mathematicians in a paper called Methods for Studying Coincidences, which coincidentally was published the same year that the Simpsons debut. There's so much going on. But keep in mind, there are so many accurate predictions that happen in the show that I could not fit them all in one video. Sometimes it seems like Conan O'Brien and the rest of the writer's room had access to a time machine back then. And like their Harvard education, instead of doing something useful with it, they decided to make a dumb fucking cartoon. Did I miss your favorite Simpsons prediction? Or your favorite Simpsons joke? I love The Simpsons, so if you just want to talk about it in the comments, I'll probably join in. New videos every Wednesday and Saturday.
That was a good video. But that's it for this stream. I'll see what's going on. I'll see if I'm streaming tomorrow. I'll let y'all know. Let me come to my full face. But that was a good stream. I felt like. But I'll let y'all know. See y'all.